Here's the news on Africa Business Radio. First, the top stories. Truecaller responds to NITDA's probe on its alleged breach of privacy rights of Nigerians. Oxfam expresses concern over the rising spate of inequality in Nigeria. VEDANTA Zinc International will shut down its Skorpion Zinc Mine refinery. American Airlines pulls the Boeing 737 MAX from its schedules until mid-January. I am Olaiton Meadows with the details shortly. Coal filtering service Truecaller has responded to the National Information Development Agency NITDA's probe on its alleged breach of privacy rights of Nigerians. The Director General of Nitrates, Kashfu Abdullahi Inuwa, disclosed that Truecaller wrote to the agency promising to harmonize the data of its Nigerian subscribers in line with the country's data protection regulation, and that there was a meeting in the works between the agency and Truecaller. Inuwa had said that the caller identification service was putting many Nigerians in unsavory conditions, and that initial findings showed that Truecaller privacy policy was not in compliance with global laws on data protection and the Nigeria Data Protection Regulation (NDPR) in particular. The NTDA Director General also stated that contrary to the belief of its users, the Truecaller app collects more information than it needs. Like other Africans, Nigerians are still vulnerable and exposed to data breaches because of the absence of data protection law. When data breaches occur, there is no legally stipulated process to sort the case, neither are there laws put in place detailing data protection responsibilities on the data holders. Hence, the need for the government to enact a data protection law for its citizens. The Nigerian subsidiaries of Royal Dutch Shell plc want an oil spillage case instituted against them to be tried in Nigeria, where it could be potentially easier for them to win. The case was initially filed in the United Kingdom by the Oil Spill Victims Vanguard, a group of lawyers representing some 168,000 people that were affected by the Bunga oil field spillage that happened in December 2011. The companies Shell Exploration and Production Co. and Shell International Trading and Shipping Company are fighting for the case to be heard in Nigerian courts because the spillage occurred within the shores of Nigeria. A statement by Shell Exploration and Production Company claimed that the accident happened overnight and that considerable effort had been made to contain and clean up the 40,000 barrels of crude which emptied into the sea and affected the surrounding lands. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) team on a visit to Nigeria has blamed the federal government over optimistic revenue projections as the main reason why the CBN's lending to the federal government continues to increase at an alarming rate. This is contained in a press release published on its website following a visit by the team of experts. The summary includes commentary and preliminary findings from its staff. Just as most analysts opine, the IMF team believes the uncertainty in Buhari's economic policies has exacerbated the economic hardship for Nigerians while keeping foreign investors away from investing in the real sector. It opines this is one of the key issues affecting fast-paced economic recovery. The pace of economic recovery remains slow as depressed private consumption and investors' wait-and-see attitude keep growth in the first half of the year at 2%, a rate significantly below population growth. It, however, acknowledged that the inflation rate has fallen due to lower food price inflation, though it might rise again if major reforms like an increase in VAT are passed next year and an increase in the minimum wage. An international human rights organization, Oxfam Nigeria, has expressed concern over the rising spate of inequality in the country, with the revelation that 94,470,534 people presently live in extreme poverty. The organization, which quoted from the World Poverty Clock, therefore called on the federal government to close the inequality gap between the rich and less privileged class, saying in 6 months, 3 million people have been added into extreme poverty in Nigeria. Constant Chona, the international country director of Oxfam Nigeria, stated this during the quality review and planning meeting, which was held in Abuja. According to him, insecurity in Nigeria was one of the consequences of the galloping inequality in the country. He said government should ensure the involvement of citizens in less violent manner in conversations with elected and appointed officials to turn things around and reverse the negative trend. VEDANTA Zinc International will shut down its Skorpion Zinc Mine refinery at the Rashpina mining settlement for 6 months at the end of October to rebuild its depleted ore stocks. Earlier this year, the mine also shut down its refinery following industrial action by Basil Reed workers, which had put operations on the mine 14 days behind schedule and had resulted in the depletion of all stock mines. Skorpion contracted Basil Reed in 2017 to execute the Pit 112 pushback project to extend the life of the mine until 2020. Sources in the mining industry hinted that 1,500 jobs will be lost at the mine since it faces closure by October. A source who preferred anonymity indicated that the loom job losses could be avoided if plans by Skorpion and Rashpina Zinc Corporation jointly developed the Girgarob zinc sulfide deposit at the mining settlement come to fruition. Sources hinted that implementation of the Girgarob project is being stalled by power play issues between the parties. In 2015, the parties had agreed to a joint venture partnership, 51% for Skorpion and 49% for Rashpina, and accepted sharing the drilling cost based on the proportion of shares each party owned. The Mine Workers Union of Namibia Southern Region Chairperson Shavuka Mdi last week confirmed that the union and Skorpion had held negotiation and agreed that 400 affected workers will receive full salaries during the refinery operation shutdown expected to end at the end of this month. Mr. Kwaku Asamoah Chereme, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, has asked investors to team up with the government to exploit industrial minerals for national development. He said Ghana was also endowed with iron ore and base metals, copper, zinc, nickel, chrome and lead, which could all be exploited with the best practices and technology in a sustainable manner to translate into wealth for the well-being of all citizens. Mr. Asamoah Chereme was speaking at the opening of the 10th West and Central Africa Mining Summit in Expo on the theme Energizing for Growth and Profitability, being organized by Magneta Global. He urged the West and Central African governments to continuously implement mining-friendly policies to sustain achievements in the volume of mineral production in the regions. The interest of citizens and environmental responsibility, he said, must therefore be prioritized. The second Tunisian-British Trade and Investment Forum will be held on October 22 in London at the initiative of the Tunisian-British Chamber of Commerce, TBCC, and the Tunisian Embassy in London. According to the TBCC, the event will be attended by Central Bank of Tunisia, BCT, Governor Mourouane Abbassi, British politicians and representatives of economic institutions and business circles from Tunisia and the UK. On the agenda of the meeting, a plenary session focusing on the overall improvement of the business environment in Tunisia and 3 sector-based panels dedicated to the promotion of partnerships in the field of automotive and aerospace, traditional and renewable energy, and ICT. According to the TBCC, the forum will help increase Tunisia's visibility on the operators on the British market and raise the awareness of the country's private operators about the opportunities offered by Tunisia in terms of investment and trade. American Airlines pulled the Boeing 737 MAX from its shuttles until mid-January, delaying its return longer than any U.S. airline as the prolonged grounding of the troubled plane disrupts year-end holiday travel. Regulators have not said when they will allow airlines to operate the MAX jet again. The plane hasn't been allowed to fly since mid-March, and after 2 crashes within 5 months of each other, killed 346 people. The grounding has forced airlines to cancel thousands of flights, driven up costs, and dented airlines' profits. American Airlines said that the 9,475 flights it cancelled in the third quarter reduced its pre-tax income in the period by $140 million. Boeing has said it expects the Federal Aviation Administration (FAA) to clear the planes to fly in the fourth quarter. The company has developed a software fix for the planes after crash investigators implicated a flight control program that malfunctions, repeatedly pushing the nose of the MAX planes down in both disasters, but the FAA hasn't approved it yet. Some regulators, including in Europe, have expressed concerns about the plane's design, and Boeing CEO Dennis Muilenburg last month said officials around the world may not all approve the plane at the same time. That's the news on Africa Business Radio. For more stories, please log on to africabusinessradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Africa Biz Radio, on Facebook and Instagram, Africa Business Radio. I am Olaiton Meadows.
Doing business is one thing. Making it profitable is another. We are the urban voice of the new age of entrepreneurs in Africa. Africa Business Radio. Towards a profitable Africa.
Exploring the African narrative, leading the conversation and enlightening our listener towards a profitable Africa.